we need to refit this box of parts back into the front of my TVR. And we're also going to completely transform the look of this 90s British sports car. So, plan for today.
Plan for today, I think we're going to do a bit on the front end. Obviously yours has got a bit of a distinct lack of screen wash, so we'll do something with the washers, get those up and working as they should be. I know one of your sort of plans was to get the front end looking a bit more standard, so we've got a new grille for that. Get the front end looking back to how it should. Just while we're in there as well, I think it's worth having a look at the horns as well, because I know the horns aren't working, or one was missing, wasn't it, from memory? The Chimaeras, when they were new, they had two horns. One was a high tone, one was a low tone, so yeah, together they make a decent noise, so I think you'll have been left with one or the other.
I think for the first time on the channel, we actually need to lower the ramp for this one.
What should be where the intercooler is on the Chimaera? What's missing and what is in there? I know it's really hard to see, but...
Yeah, so as a rule, obviously the intercooler would not be in there. Behind the intercooler is the radiator, so that should be like a nice clear route to cool the car. So obviously airflow through the radiator helps to cool it. There should also be two horns, which there's only the one, but we'll get the other one in there. There should be the charcoal canister for the breather for the fuel system, which is obviously not there, but I think we've got a bit of a plan going forward with that as well.
Yeah, we need to get that in, don't we?
Yeah, there should also be the washer bottle, which isn't in there, which is a slight concern.
Yeah.
And there is normally the alarm siren as well, which is normally down that side. Yeah, there's a few bits missing. I can see one of the horns, which is that side, and it's, if you're looking there, that is where generally the alarm siren would be. That bracket there is what the siren would originally sit in.
Right.
So that's been sort of bent and moved out of the way. Yeah,
so really, all the kind of accessories and everything that was originally in there,
yeah,
got removed or were removed before, we don't know, for all the work.
Absolutely,
but
yeah.
There's quite a lot we need to fit into a tight space there, isn't there, really?
There is a bit. There should also be the air filter in there as well, Dan, which obviously originally sort of about that sort of size, that round. So yeah, quite a sizable thing really, which obviously at the moment it certainly wouldn't fit with the space that we've got. So yeah, we're gonna have to do a bit of thinking really with that.
Yeah, because this car, and this is quite scary to say, but it doesn't have an air filter.
It doesn't have an air filter. No, I know you've got a bit of a temporary gauze that we've put over on the induction side, but it wants an air filter really.
100%, yeah.
So I think what we'll do, we'll try and suss out where the wiring is for the horn. What have we got? There they are. So that looks very much like them. What we'll do though, just to be 100%, I'll just get my test light, we'll press the horn and just make sure that there is power going to them, but I suspect that's what they are.
Right, do you want me to go press the horn, Steve?
Yeah, that would be handy, Dan, if you don't mind. Just a button in the middle of the steering wheel, Dan.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate that.
Yep, that's looking good.
I mean, I'm standing here complaining that this is going to be a difficult video to film. I think this is just a difficult job in general with everything going on, isn't it?
Yeah, what I'll do, Dan, I think we'll get the washer bottle mounted somewhere near. Then we'll see what space we've got around it as to where we can pop
We can
the
fit
horn.
everything else. Yeah, that's a good shout.
So yeah, let's grab the box, see what the horn is, see if we've got the bracket. You know, if not, we'll have to make something up for that as well. And
the TDC TVR box of bits.
That's it. It's quite substantial.
It is.
Yeah, they've certainly helped us out with supplying that. So,
shall we go digging through it then?
Grab it.
Right, let's go grab it. So this was everything that was taken off the car.
Yeah.
It was all boxed up and kept safe.
Yeah.
So now we can start salvaging for bits.
Chip away at it, see what there is inside. This is obviously the original wiring loom, which has been fairly well stripped open. I think we'll get that loom out the way. Obviously, you know, you've got the original distributor, the cap, which has obviously been replaced. Airflow meter. Again, you know, it's been upgraded and replaced. So there are your springs.
The wastegate springs. Yep.
That we've replaced in a previous video. K&N air filter, so that's slightly different to what would have been on a standard. Same sort of size, but they weren't K&N originally. So yeah, it's had a bit of love and care in the past to have that upgraded. That's what we're looking for.
That's what we're looking for. So now it's so much easier to see out of the car. So that's what a horn looks like.
That's what a horn looks like. Yeah. So yeah, nice and straightforward. Just 2 wires, bit of a bracket. So it does look like it's got a bit of age on it. I think before we fit it, we'll just test it, make sure it does work.
Off the car.
Yeah. It's easier to do it now than find out later on.
Heartbreak.
So,
yeah.
So there is your original charcoal canister as well. Obviously the fuel tank needs to vent, and you can't vent fuel vapours direct to atmosphere because obviously it's flammable. So the idea is, in order for the fuel tank to breathe, the air sort of circulates through the charcoal canister. The charcoal filters out all the vapour as such and all the flammable elements of it, and then vents to atmosphere from there. So yeah, it's basically a way of filtering the vapour from the tank and letting the tank breathe. One original oil pressure sender as well, which is something that we need to have on.
Yeah, that's a high priority one we need to do while the gearbox isn't in the car, I think.
Definitely. Yeah, we'll get the sump off and we'll come up with a plan with that, Dan, and get that reinstated. More HT leads.
Yeah, we probably need to order some new HT leads, don't we? Because they're all a bit stretched all over the place.
Yeah, we can tidy those up a bit, can't we?
So any bits, we can definitely use some of these bits to go back on, if you know. And also any bits that this car doesn't need anymore, they can go into your store to keep another one on the road.
Well, that's it. Thank you, Dan.
I can't promise that they work.
Well, I know what you mean. Yeah, I mean, stuff like airflow meters there is coming handy. They are becoming a bit thin on the ground. There's some aftermarket ones, but they're not as good as the originals, to be fair. Wires are on, Dan. Let's see if she springs into action. Looks good to me.
We've got a horn.
So we've got a horn. As I say, now we know that works. That's good. We'll get the washer bottle lined up and get that sat in place. Just managed to squeeze the washer bottle itself in through the car.
I've had to cut a lot of that out because there's a fair old bit of swearing involved. So
it was tight. Yeah,
it is a bit tight.
I think in an ideal world we'd probably want the intercooler out of the way.
Yeah.
But we've managed to squeeze it in. You mentioned before about the motor itself. So yeah, basically just a little plunger which sits into the bottom of the bottle in there. Obviously that's the pipe that feeds the water. You've got your power to it there. Just in the hose there. Something that does block up is just like a little one-way valve. So there might be 2 or 3 of these further up the system in various different places. So basically all that does, once you press the water, screen wash goes up the tube, and once you let go, if it didn't have those in it, it'd come all the way back into the tank. So when you press the button next time, it takes ages to work its way up the pipe and get to your windscreen. So they put the little one-way valves in, which lets the water go one way and then stops it coming back. So
that's quite smart.
Yeah, so your water's already there. So, but they do block up, unfortunately, sometimes over age. Without sort of stripping it down, it's difficult to show you, but underneath the mesh grille at the front, that can come detached in there. And that can be a bit of an issue to get to. Yeah, we've just had a quick test as well. That works. So yeah, I'm quite happy to fit that and get that mounted.
Super.
Only thing we haven't got in the box, Dan, is the filler neck and the pipe. But I'll have a look. We've got bits kicking about, so I'm sure we could do something. After raiding my box of tricks, Dan, we have managed to find something which should sort you out, really. So, bit of conduited tube, as I say, that just goes from the bottom of the filler neck down into the washer bottle itself. So what we'll do, we might cut that down a little bit because it's a little bit long. We'll get that sort of sat in the water bottle, get that on there, and then once that's in, we just put like a little bead of silicone around just to seal it in top of the bottle. So the bottle is sat in its mount now. We've got the tube to it, but obviously with that in there now, there's not a huge amount of space for a horn. I think what we could do, we could probably extend the wires. We'll tidy it up a bit around here, because there is a little bit more room over this side. We could have the high and low tone together. You want to get them sort of so they're a bit off the ground as well, just to protect them from the elements a bit. I mean, they're supposed to be waterproof, but they still do suffer a little bit. So
yeah, because I mean, that's one thing I was going to say. As cool as the intercooler is, it's pretty exposed.
Yeah, it is. 100%.
It is looking a bit chewed up already, only in the short amount of time we've been driving it. So
quite low down, aren't they? And they're very open to the elements. So the original horn would be up at that side, and whilst we did get a little bit of extra length, there's not enough to reach over that side. No. So we'll grab some wire and do a bit of soldering and attach them where they should be. Just made up a couple of little extenders for the wire. We've crimped the connections on, but these are sort of crimped and soldered. So
cool.
We've done the crimpy bit, but to do the solder, we just have to warm them up. Yep. So they have a glue inside as well, Dan, which will just
no way. So that's
seal it all up.
So you've crimped it, and then that's soldered the cable and glued it shut, so it's nice and watertight.
Absolutely.
Yeah, brilliant.
That's the theory.
Steve sorted out the rest of the wiring, and then it was time to give it a test.
So wire nicely extended. So we've connected all those up. We've just taped them up as well, just to make them into a bit of a loom. Routed them higher up around the back, so they're nice and out of the way. So it's a case of just connecting those up to the horns now. Triple check everything's working before we bolt it all back up out of the way.
Right, do you want to do the honours then, Steve?
Shall we give it a press? That sounds like a TVR horn should.
Yeah,
so
super.
Yeah, happy with that, Dan?
Right, so you've got me a box of goodies.
We have,
Steve.
yeah, fresh delivery. So let's have a look, see what we've got. Aha. There we go.
The bit I've never seen on this car.
No, it'll look good. It'll look good. Just finishes it off, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, that will fit in there. Obviously, we've got the seal to fit in first, and a nice sliding seal. So yeah.
Yeah. So the rubber seal, it goes around the edge of the whole grille, does it?
So we'll fit it on the car first. We might have to slightly modify it just to cut round these little braces. So you've just got to chop them back a little bit just to fit over there. Sometimes they had little rivets in, it looks like yours has at the point, just through the seal and through the body just to hold it on. You can just see there where it has had a bit of a rivet in. Sometimes they need them, sometimes they don't. I think with a new seal, it should be fairly tight around the body, so we might be okay. We've cut down the trim, Dan.
Oh yeah, there's the trim in. Look at that.
Yeah.
God, I've just popped for a cup of tea. You've come back and it's in already.
We don't mess around. No. So yeah, so that's that bit nicely sloped and sat in position. So the next bit is to get the grill mesh inside there. They can be a little bit tight, to put it politely. I normally just give a good squirt. You want some WD-40 or something along, a bit of silicone lube all the way around. It just helps it all slide into place. Don't worry about the overspray, it just soon wipes off.
Oh, I can see how this would be really fiddly.
Oh, we wouldn't have it any other way.
It's actually quite impressive how TVR managed to make something that looks so simple, so awkward.
And there we go. What do you think?
Brilliant.
Looks better, doesn't it?
Oh, so what an improvement, Steve.
Yeah.
What an improvement.
No.
It just finishes off as it should be. Now,
it does, yeah.
Obviously, we've got to stick the number plate on there.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, it's a shame, isn't it, really, to do look well with that.
Yeah, if we could leave it like that, it'd be great.
But no, I mean, I think it's something we can always alter going forward, but if we have a full-size plate in the right position, we're legal, aren't we? We can't be wrong then.
Yeah, and that's as it would have left the factory with the plate on the grill, yeah.
Yep. So, no, we'll get the plate out, we'll just measure it, and I'll say we'll go for some self-tappers through there into the brackets, and yeah, hopefully get it on straight. Right, so freshly drilled number plate, protective film, we've just taken that off as well, cleaned that up. So yep, so next stage is to get it in position and then get the holes drilled. So we want to make sure it's bang in the middle. Good.
Back to as it was?
Back to as it was, yep, back to factory.
Super. No, really pleased with that, Steve.
Brilliant, yeah. No, we've achieved something, haven't we, today?
Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah, no, I'm quite pleased we've managed to get it back to how it was. And yeah, are you happy?
Yeah, it looks finished now. I think that was the thing that was frustrating. I mean, it was a cool look before.
Oh, yeah,
and it made
I know what you mean.
It made it really distinctive, and, the amount of times people just while I'd stop for a coffee or fuel and went, oh my God, it's that car.
Well, yeah, that's it. Yeah, definitely.
But you know, by putting the mesh grill in, it keeps it safer.
Definitely. Yeah.
It gets it, you know, and you can still see, even looking at the car, that there's something different about it.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, and the reg is staying the same, so
yep,
it's still that car.
Absolutely,
you know?
100%. So. Yeah, from the front end, we're pretty much legal out. We're an MOT ready as well. Only other thing that we might have to go in there again at some point is for the way we go with the carbon can or maybe the air filter, but yeah, we will cross that bridge as and when.
Well, what a huge improvement. If you've enjoyed this video, you're probably also going to like this one, so why not give it a try? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.